there's this idea that I encountered lately that's just absolutely bonkers. Like an insane idea that is scary close to becoming reality. It's called transhumanism, and it's exactly how it sounds. Transcending human, right? Like you are going to transcend your mortal form and become something larger. Examples of this can be something like cryo freezing, right? That's a very like old school example of it. That's what everybody thought transhumanism would be. I guess back in the days of the OG transhumanists. I don't know if there were any, but I think the simplest way that I can think to explain this, and my apologies to any transhumanists if this technically isn't how you guys like to characterize it, cyborgs. We're talking cyborgs, guys. Cyborgs are on the table, and I don't know how to feel about it, because my whole life I've been like, oh my god, cyborgs are awesome. I mean, Teen Titans. We all watched Teen Titans as a kid. And Cyborg's so cool. He has cannons, he's half man, half robot, right? And that's a really cool idea. And I even remember thinking as a kid, like, oh man, like we got these iPhones, like by the time I'm older, I bet I could be cyborg and it'll be great. Like I think it fully made sense in my mind that there will be some scenario where it's like, oh, like I will never have to worry about anything in my life because I'll just be like cyborg, because that makes sense. On the one hand, I gotta say, shout out to me as a kid. Great foresight on that, because yeah, I could be. But I don't think that me as a kid exactly understood what this would look like and just how scary it is. Because it's not gonna take the form of just being like, yeah, I'll hook you up with this robot arm so you can have super strength. No, if it was taking that form, I'd be totally on board for this. I would be, if this was simple, like if this was basically the same as like getting a tattoo, right? Where it's like you go into the shop, a guy hooks you up with a cool robot fist, and you can be like Doomfist from Overwatch or something, and you can just like walk around being like, look at me and my new robot fist. I'd be so on board for this. That'd be so cool, especially if you had control over everything. But I think that's where the problem comes in, right? I think as, when they're coming up with the idea of Cyborg, using him as our reference here, they're very much thinking of it in terms of how technology worked at the time, which was like, you go to the store, you pick out your technology, you pick out your like walkie-talkie or your cell phone, you either plug it into something or you use batteries, and it's very much its own stationary device. This was before everything was connected to some cloud where like, they can just do whatever they want with that data, right? So before that, I think this idea is a very optimistic one, right? Because why wouldn't it work exactly as you're getting all your other technology? You go to the store and they hook you up with your new robot stuff, and then you go out and it's like, this is great, I'm a cyborg, right? But I don't think it'll work that way. And this is the first issue I have with transhumanism and why I think it's such a bonkers idea. I think it's a bonkers idea not only because of some of the technologies that they are aiming to do this with, but because, like, inherently they gotta have these servers to run it or whatever. Like, let's say I get like a brain chip that gives me some more intelligence or whatever, which is something we're about to talk about because that's like on the table soon. That would have to be connected to the internet or at least some server so I could access the information, probably an AI, and then like hypothetically, which like, listen, I'm not like one of those people. I don't like the data stuff. I'm very scared about the data stuff. I don't like how much information's out there on all of us. I think it's really scary, but I'm also like not that much of like a conspiracy theorist with it. Like, I don't think they're coming for me. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh my God, they're gonna use this data. They're gonna spy on me. Like, it's gonna be bad, right? I don't like some of the spying stuff. Like, I definitely got like Siri turned off on my phone, which is ironic because there's hundreds of hours of me on the internet speaking, but I just ignore that. No, because at least I have control over that. Like, I don't like having things like microphones on around me, like stuff like that. Just generally, yeah, like that's cool for me. I'm good doing stuff like that. I don't think they're gonna like take my data and use it against me. Maybe I'll eat these words someday if this happens. But like, to me, it's like they're probably just gonna try and sell me stuff. You know, I'm kind of just an average guy. Like, I'm not anybody special enough where I have to worry about what my data is going to end up as, right? And also, like, let's say, worst case scenario, let's say one of these guys with all this data, I don't know who has the most data, but let's say one of these guys with all this data is like, I want to go scorched earth. Like, they'll know where I live, but like, if they decide to do that, like, you know, I don't know. I just don't, I can't, maybe this is me not knowing enough about how all this works, but I just can't imagine a scenario where like, I can't just run into the woods and be okay. When you start talking about brain chips though, then you could start talking about like mind control stuff. And listen, first of all, let me say this. I don't think that we know how the brain works well enough just as a species to be like, let's start throwing chips in there. I don't. Until we can successfully map out the brain and you can explain to me what every single thing in a brain does, right? I get we have enough information to make these chips. I don't care. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we have enough information to start putting stuff in these brains. I think we need to study them a lot longer. I think we need like give it 100 years, right? Like we don't need to rush into these brain chips, guys. But even outside of the idea of a brain chip, right? Let's say like this was some cartoon where like they could just give you a chip, again, put the batteries in, and you're like Einstein. That'd be fine, whatever. But these are gonna be connected to a server, and I don't know what they can do with that server. Once again, I don't know how this brain works. Like, maybe they could mind control me. Maybe they can make me think whatever I want, or whatever they want. Like, it could be really bad. The thing that scares me about this, though, is that, let's say, like, Neuralink's a great example of one of these companies. Elon Musk says that with Neuralink, like, the average human will be, like, 10 times smarter or whatever, right? Because of just having this chip in where they can access all of this information. Is that him just trying to get sales, investment? Probably, right? But it's not that crazy of a scenario that you get this chip in your brain and you become smarter, right? If they start putting these chips in everybody's brain, then I'm dumb. Like, no matter what, I'm just a dumb guy. So is it better to be dumb and free from the brain chips, or is it better to be just get the brain chip and be like, well, I can't fall behind? Because I mean, if everybody is by default 10 times smarter than you, I want you all to just imagine like just the most normal man on earth. He's now 10 times smarter than you, no matter what you do. Like, you just can never get smarter than this guy because he just has a brain chip. Like, you will legitimately be treated as like an outcast to society. If everybody's smarter than me, I'll be walking into coffee shops and all my friends would be at the table talking about like physics and like Descartes or something, and I'll be all like, what are we talking about, guys? And they'll, I don't know, stare at each other and shoot lasers into each other's heads about Descartes and be like, you wouldn't get it. That happens to me already, and they don't even have the brain chips. So if they're like 10 times smarter, I'm done. Like, I'm done if everybody's 10 times smarter. And obviously I'm saying all this in kind of a lighthearted tone, but on a genuine level, like, we're already at this stage where if you want to be like, I don't want to live a plugged in life, you can't do it. Like, you cannot do it. You have to go to these restaurants, scan these QR codes. They're putting like IDs on your phone now. Your money's connected to your phone. Like, your phone's becoming an essential part of your life. You cannot unplug it anymore, right? And that's probably like when phones were in their infancy, like with flip phones, cell phones, like when the idea of having a carry around phone was in its infancy in like the 90s, right? When they had those giant brick phones. I bet if you told someone back then, someday you would be an outcast from society if you did not attach your whole life to one of these phones, they'd be like, that's insane. And that was literally 35 to 40 years ago. These brain chips are in their infancy right now, right? Let's say we're 5 years from the big chunky phone equivalent of these brain chips. 50 years from then, I'll be priced out of this market of being a human because I'm not willing to put a chip in my brain. The big thing we gotta do here, guys, and this is the only thing I'll ever ask of all you, okay? I try to just make this series very lighthearted. I try and make it just like, we're gonna talk about something and, take whatever you want from it. Be like, this guy's right, this guy's awesome, this guy's wrong, I hate this guy. I've never cared, right? Whether you love what I say on a daily basis, you hate it, I need you all to stay with me. We can't get these chips, guys. We can't. Like, we need to move we can't do it. I need at least 50% of the human population to be like, I'm not putting this brain chip in. So at least I can have a group of friends that aren't like shooting lasers into each other's heads. Because I know some of my friends are gonna get those brain chips. And I mean, like, we all know that one guy in our lives that gets like the new iPhone and they're like, oh, look at me. Like, imagine when they get the new brain chip, how annoying they'll be. This is not good. This is a bad route, guys. We can't do brain chips. That's my take. Please tell your friends, don't let them get the brain chips, guys. I'll have to cut off people in the future when they're getting, like, I'm serious about this. Like, I don't like these brain chips. This is the painting. Second to last one here. The inconvenient thing is I'm running out of the red, but I have so much of the green and the purple, and it's causing this. So yeah, that's that. Anyways, follow the Instagram, check this out over there. Let me know, what are your thoughts on these brain chips? Hopefully just as negative as mine. And until next time, guys, gals, and pals, my name is Max Dice. This is Paint and Talk episode 190. I'm here every morning, painting and talking with you all.